Okay. The Verdugo Hills Golf Course has been in a lawsuit status, and the latest is that the appeals by the developer were denied. So so everything is still the same. That project was not approved.
You've got mail.
The Sun Hill Shopping Center, if Patty was here, she would be able to give you an update on that. I don't see that she's arrived, so I'll just repeat what she said at a prior meeting. Ross is going into the upper level of the shopping center, and Altamed is signed to go into the lower level on the Fenwick side. So that's the updates. There are rumors about other things going on, but those are the ones that are confirmed. The 10156, 10158 Hillhaven for an apartment building has decided to not go forward with the project for now. That was previously going to be scheduled, but it's now no longer going to be. 11436 Delmont Drive, the city has approved a lot line adjustment. We were going to have them present, but the city's now moved forward on that, so we won't be having that meeting. And I don't know if anybody has any other updates with regards to Foothill or Commerce Avenue. Does anybody?
No.
No? Okay, so that's all I have. Rich?
Do we usually have discussion for community member announcements, or we just move on to the next item?
They're just updates, yeah.
All right. So let's go to number 4, presentation. Is applicant from Hillhaven ready to present?
Yes.
Do you want to share your screen or take it away?
Okay. Let me share the screen. You guys see it?
Mm-hmm.
Hello? Can you guys see the
Yes, you can see the screen.
Okay. Hello, my name is Mario. I work for STNC Development, and there's a couple of things that I want to discuss about this project. So this project, what initially is going on is there was a lot of things illegally built on this project about a year ago, and we're trying to resolve all the code violations. Right now, we submitted a 420 square feet addition. Actually, at least another 3 other plans that we submitted. We're trying to see how we could comply with everything that was illegally built. It's we're trying to reverse engineer everything. And I know that in the I guess the case information states that we have to widen the street.
Excuse me, we've got some people saying they can't hear too
It's
well.
cutting out.
Oh,
yeah.
Can you hear me a bit more better?
Now, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So and the other thing, I guess we're trying to comply with all of the multiple code violations that this project has. So also, I noticed that in the case filing, one of the other things you guys stated is widening the street. And we don't want to widen the street. Currently, right now, it's at 20 feet. That's in the Hillhaven side, and also, actually, yeah, both I guess the left and the right side, or depending on how you see it.
It's in the middle. I can barely hear the comments.
Okay. Let me see.
Yeah, we still need you to be louder, please.
Can you hear me a bit better?
Yes, much better.
Okay, much better. Oh, okay. So in the case filing information, we did notice that you guys wanted us to widen the street, the Hillhaven Street, 20. But we don't want to widen it right now. We actually have 20 feet of width. So I guess that's the main concern we have right now. That and the basically we're trying to resolve all the code violations that this project has. And there's actually multiple permits that we filed to sort of resolve this issue. And kind of go reverse engineering on this project because the owner actually touched everything on this project, that including doing these additions, the pool and the deck. But right now, what we're trying to, I guess, really talk about in this presentation is the addition and the 20-foot width of the Hillhaven Avenue. So, yeah. I don't know if you guys can hear that.
We can hear you now.
So, okay. So as you can see, we there's a 20 feet. Can you guys see my cursor?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So
Yes.
there's 20 feet on this side. There's 20 feet on this side, and we're sort of just showing what exactly the owners did to the project. He demoed this existing portion. He added this roof and this roof to create a 420 square feet addition on the right and basically what is it, east and south side of the project. And yeah, that's basically the main scope of work. So, any comments or questions or?
Okay, to reiterate, the request that you're being presented now is regarding some kind of approval you need from the city for the street, not
Yeah.
your, okay, there. We're not gonna.
Yeah, we don't want to widen it. We feel like it's gonna be kind of a hassle to do, and honestly, it's already pretty wide. It's already 20 feet on both sides. So.
And what is the city requesting?
Give me 1 second. AV. Hello. I have to double check the number, but I think it's 30.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. But like throughout the whole way, that's the thing. That's including also like the neighbors. Let me show you guys the Google Earth. Give me 1 second. All right, so this is what I mean. So this whole street from down, I think it's this side, mainly 20. So right now, the whole street right now is 20 feet from this corner all the way to this corner. And I'm not sure how exactly we're going to resolve this, but they wanted us to have 30 feet throughout.
Okay.
Hello? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. I don't know if there's
Okay.
anybody have questions about it.
Okay, so is it written somewhere, this is Cindy, where it indicates the requirement for 30 feet? And then Rich, you've got a hand raised. Patty's here, so we'll get her next.
Let me.
Mario, you could get that
Yeah,
to
it was the engineering department, public works, that told us about the 30 feet, but we still have to confirm the 30 feet. Sorry.
Okay, so Rich, you want to take Patty?
Patty, go ahead. You have a comment or question? You're muted if you're trying to. Hi, Patty. Patty, go ahead. You're unmuted, but we can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. I fell asleep. And have I missed a lot of this presentation?
No, but I mean, we could summarize. It's
Well-
just okay.
Yeah, my question is real fast. And I meant to investigate this more. I'm so sorry, but were permits taken out already for the house? And have you done, was this answered, has construction done before the permits?
So Mario, do you know, let's see, Mario, let me make sure I got you unmuted. Can you unmute Mario?
Okay, yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's the problem we're actually having. All this construction was done before we had all the plans. The owner decided to do this, and I'm not sure if a neighbor or the code he got code enforcement issues, and we took on the project to sort of resolve all these code violations we have.
You're consulting for the owner, or you're expediting for the owner?
Yeah, yes, my boss.
Okay.
Okay, and was it, I'm so sorry, I don't know how long you've been going on. Was it discussed exactly where the city wants you to give them, to designate land to make the street wider?
Yeah, on our, give me 1 second. V.
I did not hear that. Is it after?
He's looking it up. Is it on Hillhaven Avenue?
Yeah,
Going
hello?
east-west?
Sorry,
go ahead.
hello? I missed. So, it's kind of virtually impossible, but they're telling us that it's determined by planning to discuss on where exactly that extra 10 feet is going to be where we're going to get that extra 10 feet from, either from our side of the property or, right north side of the other neighbor's property where you can see the cars parked in their driveways.
Right,
So,
okay.
yeah, so that's something that we don't determine. I think the city's sort of determined, and the city's kind of determining that. But honestly, when you look at it, it's sort of impossible to do that because you're gonna have to run that 10 feet, get that extra 10 feet from somewhere, and it's gonna be from our neighbors, from our side, and on top of that, we're gonna have to run it from this stop sign to the other stop sign. So that's the thing. Yeah.
Is that what they're asking to do from stop sign to stop sign or just your property?
Is it stop sign or our private property only? Are you
I'm
sure
sorry,
it's just?
what was that?
Well, regardless, it's something that honestly I don't think it's gonna happen. We're trying to get planning exception for this.
Well, I don't know. I've been on that street and I think that street needs to be widened. The city has that rule because they're trying to make these street wider. And if everybody keeps saying they don't want to do it, it's never going to get done. I think there's room, with the exception of there's one tree maybe in here that would cause it, but I think there's room for you to give that property up.
Your property too? That's great. I mean, honestly, I mean, honestly, we don't think that's honestly fair. I mean, that's a lot of, it's 10 feet out of your property.
I understand that, but you should have known that. But you also added on to this without permission, without going to the proper ways too. So is that fair? I'm just wondering. I'm just posting the questions here.
Well, are you at the same time, are you willing to dedicate your property. Because this is, you know how this works is Public Works is going to have a engineer come out there and determine that. And they're going to take the center of the street and widen it from the center of the street. They're
Right.
not going to come and say, hey, let me take your property since you're doing the work. So nobody else is going to participate in that. So this owner can't force his neighbors to participate in that. Therefore, this never goes through in the cases, and it's called a ZAD exemption, which is a planning exemption for this scenario. And the scenario comes up many times. It's just impossible to do. So every time it does come up, you have to get like a planning exemption, which is the process we're going through right now. So,
No, I understand.
I mean,
but-
it's something you just can't do. It's not something like you can say, hey, man, give up your property, but nobody else is going to do that. If we have to do this, it has to happen all the way from the bottom of the street all the way up. It's not just one property.
That's not, that's what that's why we had that question earlier. Were they asking you from stop sign to stop sign? Or are they asking you just in
They
front of your
technically
property?
ask you all the way up until you get access. So this might go all the way down to like Foothill Boulevard.
Yeah, so, yeah,
It's just-
that was
It's
a question
hundreds
we
of
asked.
homes and people can't use that. They can't determine that because going down that street, you can't just keep telling people, hey, we're gonna widen the street onto your houses. You know, it's not one case at a time. There is something called a highway dedication, which if they have that already determined, they would, anytime you go in there to do a permit, they would say, listen, you have to give up 3 feet or 4 feet of your property before we can approve this. But this is like a case that 99% of the time nobody follows through with it unless you own all the property all the way down, like a large lot, then you can offer it. But like in this case, we would have to be offering our neighbor's property, which we don't have rights over. And what ends up happening is you take that case to planning department saying, we can't provide what the engineering department is requiring because it's impossible. And they end up basically waiving it, but you end up paying like $7,000 to go through that. So you guys will be informed of like a public hearing coming up soon too. And you
No.
can make your case, but again, this is not like, we can't say we're giving up our property. They're going to find the center line to the street and they're going to expand from the center line out. And that's determined by Public Works and traffic engineers.
No, I understand all that, but my understanding is once somebody wants to build, they require that person to build so that it's widened. Yes, in fact, a couple of years ago, the city actually sent somebody out that wanted to build much further up the hill. And he suggested all of Hillhaven from Foothill on up be widened. But, you know, it was decided that when people bought, my understanding is that, you know, you decide you want to build, you take out a permit and they say, you know, you got to widen the street right there. Now, the next person down the line, when they want to build more, they're going to have to widen too. So eventually everything's all going to be widened. And that's,
Yeah, so that one, in that case, what they have is called a hillside highway dedication. Even though it's not a highway, it's called a highway dedication. But that would be marked up and down Hillhaven. The city doesn't have that basically there, so they don't have any intentions of widening these streets. But what happens is the engineering department has to sign off on access to the property. When they look at it, they measure the road, they get the distance is considered what's called a substandard street. The reason they don't want you people to develop on this, I'll tell you now, is because of the access to fire trucks. Okay.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So it's very hard to go up there to begin with. So the more expanding in these areas you do, they wanted to, basically the biggest concern would be to widen it for a fire truck to have easier access. It's not for people to park on both sides. It's not stuff like that, but it's honestly it's for safety reasons, you know?
Absolutely.
But on this lot, I have done this before. By the way, in that case, you end up paying for them to take your property. They don't even pay for you. So, but on this street, it's not given. And in this street, it's a different kind of a case. It's that whole where you have to widen the whole neighborhood. This is going to happen. Anybody that does any permits in your neighborhood is going to have to deal with this basically in the future. So we're already dealing with the planning department to begin with. So this is just another part of our case, is to avoid that. But this is a very small aspect. The reason we're trying to say is something it's impossible to do. We need to get a waiver is because it is what it is. You know, that's how they deal with that. So I don't know like why it is the case with you guys, but it's literally like something that we can't do anything about, and the only option we have here is to get the exemption. And it's not like we're gonna widen our end. That's not what they're requesting, you know?
Okay, can we move on to the other point that was mentioned earlier by Mario? I think you might be somebody different, right?
Yes, go ahead. I'm Vardon. Sorry to not to introduce myself.
How do you say your name or spell your name?
Vardon, Vardan.
Okay, thank you. The other part of the presentation is the addition. Can you talk about the addition?
The addition was they filled in portions of the house that was previously towards the back of the house facing the pool. And I think that addition is part of the kitchen dining table. That's the dining area now. And I think there's a little bit on the other corner of it too, like another 50 or something square feet. So that's basically it. I mean, the addition itself is small. Kind of the fact that they touched everything on site has been more of a bigger issue. The addition we've had basically approved like since last year. The processing aspect of it is much more intense than just that.
What do you mean by approved?
Well, building department has approved the addition as far as permitting wise, but we have to pass this specific plan for us to get our final permit on those. That's what we're kind of holding off on these. A lot of it is these planning cases take 2 to 3 years. And yeah, I know you're saying like they did it illegally, but everybody else in this neighborhood, anything you guys do, you guys are going to trigger this 3-year process for yourselves, you know?
So,
No, we do it legally.
but
It's still going to take you 3 years, trust me.
with regards,
That's the issue in this case. We would have had to solve this earlier, but the actual process of this takes up to like 3 years.
so the addition is already there, and now you're trying to approve the addition. Is that right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's been approved. I don't understand.
It's approved through building department. It's not approved through the planning department. The planning department is a specific plan that's in your neighborhood.
Okay.
And the paperwork and you get like a public hearing and everything takes a long time to get done and scheduled. And we've been working with several city planners to get this done. It's just there's multiple permits we have open. We just had to deal with whatever was on site. How we started, we're going backwards from what the code violation engineers have given. And we have almost like 5 permits open on this property, including remodel of the pool, remodel of the deck, which was all done separately.
So it's not just the addition. There's these other permits as well.
There's these other permits as well, yes.
The permits were,
I mean, if you guys have seen the house has been remodeled from driveway all the way to the house. It's not.
Okay. So, Rich, I'm sorry, I was asking questions. I'll pass it
no,
back.
go ahead.
No,
Yeah,
go ahead, guys. Any question you guys have, we want to make sure you guys know everything.
Yeah, I got confused. So now there was a violation, code enforcement came out, they're requiring you to get permits for the work that was done. Those permits are what have been approved, but the planning approval hasn't been gone through.
Permits not approved.
Yeah, basically we're still pending on the planning approval, and that's our last thing that we need. And then before that, we want to come out to you guys because we've actually, it's been several months we're trying to come out and talk to you guys too.
Okay, so I see that there's just looking at the well, I'm looking at the wrong side, hold on. Okay. Plumbing issued, permit expired, quality review completed. Okay.
And to be honest with you, some of it is the owner's fault. He should know better. But at the same time, contractor made him go through all this and then got him and took a lot of his money and left. And he thought he had permits because whoever did the work told him that. And he found out later he needed permits, all this stuff.
Not true.
So, but they should know better. Yeah, every time I tell them that too.
It's not true.
Sorry, what's not true?
Rich, do you want to take some other comments from committee and then from the public?
Yeah, sorry. Does members of the public have any questions? I don't see any hands up from the committee or the public, but if anybody has any questions, raise your hand, or this is an open question and comment.
I see Lionel and then Carol.
Okay, go ahead, Lionel. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Regarding widening roads, right? This is the item in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I was just watching NBC Nightly News. I know I don't know too much about the specifics of this project or idea or concept, but widening roads, wouldn't that encourage more motorists to speed and maybe cause more other unintended consequences for the residents of your beautiful neighborhood? That was just my concern about speeding if they widen the road or something. That is all. Thank you.
Carol's next.
Hello. Yeah, I'm just Carol Hutchinson. I'm on the San Juan Tejanga Neighborhood Council, but I am here with my own concerns and nothing to do with the council. Now, I had been out and seen this property, and I looked on Zemas, and it looked like absolutely no permits were filed for this home, and that they were told to cease and desist a couple years ago, and nothing. There were never any permits apparently, and when I went out to see the property, I don't know if you guys can flash back to the picture that was shown, the overhead type drone picture. This home looms over the home right beside it. I mean, the guy can stand on the back deck, which is what that big white area was, and look down into this his neighbor's property. And checking Zillow, the old picture, the old home, it looks like several trees were removed without permits. So it just seems like we're being bulldozed with this property. This guy built this whole thing, no permits. He's kind of bulldozed over the guy next door, and now he comes here and it sounds like, oh well, if they take our road, we're it's like I feel kind of being threatened by this. Really, it's like, well, they'll take everybody's road if they take our road. It's just really, this is kind of a weird project, and I can't support
Okay,
this.
let me add on to your concerns. First of all, to begin with, this home was over 4,000 square feet before we began this. Okay,
I know
if
that.
you can go check out on Zillow, it's a 4,000 square feet home.
I know.
To begin with, yes. So it's
But how much
purchased
is
as
the
a
deck?
4,000 square feet home, and all of a sudden it just became big to you. And then the deck itself,
Well,
is existing deck. It's an existing deck that was there. The
No, it's
deck
not.
was
Yes.
rebuilt, but it's the
No,
existing
it's
deck that
much
was there.
larger. It's much larger. Are you telling
Well, if
me
you
the
can
old
find
deck
evidence of
loomed
that,
over the
please
neighbor's
share.
house?
Okay, excuse me. We just need one person talking at a time. Carol, why don't you finish all your comments and then
No, I mean, that I just have serious concerns. I really feel that this builder, or not these guys, they're apparently new, but the owners, whatever, just mostly just did what they wanted, and now it's like after the fact. They want to come in and get permission from us, from our neighborhood, from their land use. So thank you. That's all I have to say.
okay. So I don't see any other hands. I don't know if anybody else wants to speak. Rich, do you want Mario to respond, or Vardan?
Guys, any responses you guys want to, or
Well,
comments
no,
want to make,
first of
and we
all, I
can go
just
into
want people
discussion?
to be very honest when they come to this situation. We already know that this house was already big to begin with. When I first entered this house myself, I said, wow, this is a very large house to begin with, because you can tell. And that deck was there. And just because you didn't see it before, and I've even been to the site, they have brand new trees planted towards the street side there. And we're not trying to threaten you. We're telling you what the process is. When you come out here and tell us that we're trying to threaten you, no. What they want us to do is widen Hillhaven. Hillhaven cannot be widened because we cannot ask you for permission to widen your houses. In that case, we have to go to planning department and say, these people will not give us permission to widen the street. Are you going to give them permission? You really think we're going to get permission all the way down from every single neighbor? No, we're going to have trouble on the first neighbor out of 10 neighbors. So the city already knows this. We're telling you beforehand. I don't know why this is your concern, because this is something they're just going to completely void. Because what they're asking us to do is to create an access for a fire truck from all the way down. And like I told you guys, and you guys said yourselves, sometimes this means all the way down to Foothill. You're talking about a quarter of a mile, half a mile going down there. And that's not going to be possible at all. And nobody's threatening you. I'm just telling you, you can't just get your way. You can't say, go widen my street on this guy's house. That's not how the city does it. What they do is this process would be like almost another 1 or 2 years where traffic engineers would have to come review it and do traffic studies to widen the street. And again, that's not something that's going to ever happen. And we came out here, listen, we come out here, we're not obligated to come talk to you guys. We just like the fact that we've taken every opportunity to try to, anybody who's interested, any neighbor who's called us regarding this property, we've talked to them. Whatever they did, we're better at solving these problems than they are. We're actually hired by his attorneys to do this. So our conversation to the city and our conversation to the code enforcement and everybody else goes pretty much through attorneys. And what we're here trying to do is solve the problem as fast as we can, because the city also wants that. They can't have an open code violation. And it's open code violation because I'm telling you guys, if you guys went and did something that's like this to your house, it'll take you 2-3 years to get permits. And it's just a process that's in your neighborhood that you have to follow. The fact that this guy did it without permits, yeah, he's in trouble, but he's dealing with his own issues, and it's cost him thousands of dollars to deal with this too. It's not like he's gotten away scot-free. He's paying not only attorneys, he's paying everybody premium because all this has to be reverse engineered. So it's not like he's getting away scot-free. Sure, believe me, he did stuff that he didn't know would cost so much money. Every city application, everything that he's been paying for has been thousands and thousands of dollars. Some people might not make the decision to go forward in the beginning when they know that, but for him, it's too late. You have to just shed the cost, and it is what it is, and we're here to solve it actually. So they have permits and everything, and people aren't mad. But if you do have a concern about the size of the deck, there is a public hearing from planning. That would be a better place for you to present your concern, and you guys will get notices of that very shortly.
Okay.
That's all.
Betty, thank you. Betty has her hand raised.
Thank you.
Sorry, Rich. I just checked.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, the question that I have is usually when the city makes a request to widen the street or place other requirements on a project and you want an exemption from it and you want us to recommend an exemption for that requirement, then there's something in writing from the city. And I don't see that here. So I don't know what the width of the side street is. You're saying that the width of the Hillhaven is 20 feet, but I'd like to see something in writing from the city saying how wide they want the street and what areas of the street. If it's all the way down to Foothill, that's one thing. If it's just to the corner, that's another thing. And I'd like to see that in writing so that we know exactly what we're talking about. And the other question was, you mentioned when you were talking about having to get the specific improvements approved. And I'm wondering if that's specific plan improvements, if this is going to not comply with the general requirements in the neighborhood, if it's going to be taller or bigger or not meet the side, the setback requirements, and also if that 10 feet across the front of your property was originally dedicated for street widening. I know on my property, there is even though I have use of the land, it's already designated that when I build on my property, that land is already dedicated to the city for street widening. So I'd like to have answers to those questions. What is the city, where is it in writing what the city is requiring as far as widening the street and what portions of the street? And also, does it meet the city general standards and the setback requirements that the lot has? Or have you built beyond that and that's where the problem is coming in?
Can I respond?
Yes.
Please.
Okay, as far as the street, I think they want a 20 feet roadway all the way through. That's what I think they want. We don't know how far they want because they would, once you tell them, you have to apply for what's called a B permit. And again, what we need to do is do engineering studies, which would end up determining, you have to go back and forth with the city to determine how much of it they would want you to widen, but it would be 20 feet across the whole way. As far as the other, oh, sorry, what was your second question or comment?
The second question was the restrictions and the requirements for building. You built it without a permit, but they have given you, they've not given you a permit for that, whether you applied for it or didn't apply for it. But there are certain, specific things that it says you can do on that permit. And the question is, are you meeting all of the standard requirements for building? There's usually a requirement for a certain amount of setback on the property. Are you complying with that? Or is the deck going out past the easement or the setback requirement? And the height requirement, there's a height requirement usually on how tall a building can be. And if it's in a hillside, there are other restrictions for it. And I believe it is on a hillside. And are all of those specific requirements already being built, or are you just saying, we want you to go back to the city and tell them they should let us build it the way we want?
No, there is some parts that engineering wise has to be revised construction wise. So again, what the contractor did on site, he didn't do a good job. So the right way to do this consists of going back and redoing it, sort of. As far as the deck, well, we haven't applied for the permit on that yet. So some of these things will change to meet the code. So we will, when we get something approved from the city, it will be something that meets the city's code. And then what they would need to do is get a contractor to go back and fix these issues. So yes, the deck might be cut from one side or the front side, but once we get the final approved permits, which would meet city standard, then they would have to go back and do construction again to fix these issues.
So what are you asking the committee to do precisely?
I honestly know. I think the reason why they just send it out to you guys is because when we apply for the specific plan to go to the planning public hearing, they ask us to provide you guys with just a copy of it. And I think you guys just have to give approval or not. Regardless, we have to continue our case. I mean, it's built. So this is what it is, and we're not going to demolish it. We just have to move forward, you know? We'll see how close we can get it to whatever is on site. And if things don't meet code, then the owner has to make it meet code during construction.
Yeah, so there's just, my understanding is there's two different, just maybe I'm repeating, but there's the issue of code compliance, which is not something that they're requesting relief from. They still have to comply with whatever building and safety tells them to
Yes,
do.
they have to
But-
get permits for all the things they have code compliance on.
Yeah, but there is, what you're asking for is the determination for the lot fronting on the street. So rather than just the application you submitted is asking for the determination for lot fronting on a street improved to less than 20 feet wide or less than, it's cut off, but I'm assuming this is just dealing with the fact that it's not being widened to the width they wanted. Is that correct?
Yeah, the street is not wide enough.
Okay, and then the first part of that application is asking for project permits compliance review to permit the addition, right?
Yes.
And that permitting of the addition, is that now you're asking them asking planning to confirm that the addition complies with the specific plan that's applicable to the property, right?
Yeah.
Was there any height added to was as part of the addition, was there any height added to the structure? You said there an area that was filled in. Was it
It was filled in. It was the areas that were filled in though, which wasn't an issue, where they had things sticking out past it. It was the middle of two areas that was filled in.
Yeah, I think you presented it. Someone presented it last time. It's a continuation of the roof line, or I don't know. Was there an additional height as part of the structure?
No, it's 2 stories. The garage is on the bottom of it because it's on the hillside, but the actual house is on 1 story. Just the garage is below it. And that's what gives it the height, because from Hillhaven side, it's going uphill around that whole side street.
Okay, but the addition isn't adding to the overall height of the structure.
It's not true. It did.
We didn't have an
Someone
issue
keeps-
with an addition. We're
Someone
actually
keep.
having.
What? Sorry, 1 sec. Someone keeps. If there's something that's not being said, there's something just it's okay to step in and just kind of come out with it instead of just saying it's not true. Just if there's something you've seen something, it's okay to make the comment, and we want to hear it. Don't be afraid, I guess. But as far as you're trying to,
there's actually a current lawsuit going on with one of the neighbors too, by the way, over this. So there's it's a bigger issue than everything.
from my perspective, I don't know what else is going on with the application, but for our review, I don't know if everybody else agrees, but we just wanted to take a look at the street improvement.
That's fine. I mean, if that's what you guys are okay with that part, that's fine with us.
Especially if the rest of it is under. Go ahead.
That's fine with us. Just continue.
Okay, so,
I can say something.
okay, go ahead,
This
Paul.
is not just in civil court. This is in criminal court with the city. There was an agreement to stop building, and it wasn't stopped.
Okay, and none of our approvals today would impact any kind of determination being done by the city, right? Or not approval, or whatever action we take now has no impact on building and safety and their determinations.
Well, we don't have to take an action. We can do nothing. There's some comments only, or ask for a return. There were several questions. Betty had some great questions as far as the portions with the street widening part, which is a big concern, needing it in writing. So, we could push this off for that. And then as far as the addition, it sounds to me like there's more than just one addition. So we don't have all of that information. And I don't know, like you said, Rich, you just stayed focused on the street.
Yeah. Because in general, I mean, we've tended to be okay with those kinds of requests because we realize it's not, once it goes past the property owner. But, you know, again, it's everybody's vote or whatever, but it seems like it's okay if it's unfair to ask an applicant to widen the street to some intersection, especially if it goes beyond their property.
Yeah, but I do think there's questions about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
separately.
So I'd like to suggest that we ask the city about the questions Betty had, and then perhaps we can have them return at a future date, because it sounds like this is not going to be going really fast. I don't know what anybody else thinks.
Betty, are you able to? I don't know if you can.
We're okay returning.
Cindy, was that a motion or?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to request more information from the city in writing regarding the street widening. Is that what it was, Betty? Did I say it right?
Yes, and if there is, if on the property lines, if there's already been land that's been dedicated for a street widening on his property, and it would seem to me that widening the street is already set forth in that. And the example that I've got is that the back of my property, I have a conditional use permit for the back of the property all the way out to the existing street. But it's also with the understanding that if they decide to widen the street, that is really city property that I've been granted permission to use. So if that property was already, that land was already dedicated for street widening, and it shows on the title or the maps of the city, then that land really isn't his to object. And if it's just 10 feet along his property because he's modifying it, that's different than if he's being asked to widen the street all the way past his property and down around the corner and down Hillhaven, where none of that property is under his control. So I'd like to know where the widening is required and if that was already dedicated for widening.
Okay. So that I think is our motion, to get that information if we can, and then request that he return at a future date. So, does anybody want to go along with that request?
I'll second, Cindy, I'll second the motion.
Okay, do you want to take a vote?
You need
Or is there
discussion.
discussion? Sorry, I thought we had discussion. Discussion about the motion?
See if any other members of the committee have questions or want to add anything or change anything. Okay.
Is it a 40-foot street? Wow. Sorry.
So I know we have another presenter, so we'll go ahead and I'll take the vote. Richard?
Yes.
Cindy, yes. Nina?
Yes.
Barton?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Berge?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
And Patty?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
you.
So thank you for coming, and Patty or myself will be in touch with you about a return date, and we'll go from there.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Okay.
Next. Okay.
Go ahead.
Next up, item B or 4B, presentation on 10003 Commerce. Applicant, you ready? Go ahead and share your screen when you're ready.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So my name is Savannah Medzoyan with Malian Associates. We are processing the entitlement with the City Planning Department. We have our architect, and we have actually the applicant with us tonight. We are coming before you. Thank you for your time this evening. We're coming before you to present our submittal and what we've done thus far, and look forward to hearing back from you so we can move forward. Yes. Can I continue, or was that a?
That may have just been feedback.
Okay. All right. So our project is on 10003 Commerce Avenue. Our proposed project is a change of use and a tenant improvement project. We're from an existing building, we're converting just the use. We're not touching the building. It was an old print shop and a video store back in the day, and the use is now being converted to a jump club and a club cafe. And we are looking to maintain the existing wall sign that's been there with the actual permits from 1952 or 58, I believe. We are filing this because we are in the foothill specific plan, and any change of use triggers the actual specific plan. So the property is zoned C1 with a commercial land use designation in the Sunland Tahunga community plan, and we are in the Foothill Boulevard specific plan, as you already know. One of our findings, our filings, the most important one was to look at the specific plan and to see how our change of use, what we want to do there kind of is compatible and it fits the neighborhood, or if it's needed in the neighborhood. Well, interestingly, section 2 under the purposes and section 2B and 2D, in fact, of the specific plan talks about how to enhance the future commercial development. Section 2D talks about to create a vibrant commercial environment along Foothill Boulevard and Commerce by encouraging uses, designs, landscaping, anything that brings people to the community. Now, as we all know, Commerce used to be a much more vibrant strip. However, it's declined significantly, not just COVID. In the last 10 years, I mean, going back to 1993, where I remember, because I am from the community, it had a lot more stores. There's a lot of vacancies. COVID hasn't helped at all. People are moving out of LA, taking their businesses elsewhere. It's too expensive to do business in LA, especially if you have to go through permits and to do anything. Now, the specific plan talks about how we can make this vibrant and exciting. It says to make it exciting to pull people in. So our comment was Commerce Avenue used to be vibrant. The commercial corridor needs vibrant and exciting uses, businesses to come in and make the area much more desirable for the community. The project proposes the indoor playground for all ages of kids and all occasions. It's providing community center for its neighbors, gathering place for festivities, and will enhance the feel of the community. We need businesses that are more family oriented, not just another alcohol use, not just another auto body, especially Foothill, not just another weed place, not just another, there's so many uses that are just singled out. This is actually a family place. So I want to emphasize that. It also talks about neighborhood services. Like, this is a service for the community. This is a service for the neighbors. It's a gathering place. We're also looking at height in the specific plan. Interestingly, the height maximum is allowed is 33, but luckily our existing building is at 29, so we're not violating that part of the specific plan. So in order for our use to come in, it triggered parking. Parking is tough. A lot of these older buildings there weren't as many cars back then, but now everybody has a car. Cars are always an issue. So we have secured an off-site off-site parking space. We've been in works with building and safety for almost a year. We've been going back and forth on looking for an appropriate site where we can take valet our cars. And our address is give me 1 minute. So we actually have secured a spot, 7216 Valmont Street. So we've secured 18 parking spaces there. We have 5 parking spaces on site. Now, we are looking to do an affidavit. Building and Safety has asked us to secure that. But until we go through planning, until we get our approval, Building and Safety is kind of holding that. So our permits have been filed with Plan Check. As far as the building is concerned, we've gone through every aspect of the code. We are before you for the specific plan. The one other thing I wanted to emphasize is we already have 33 neighboring support letters. We have 2 support letters from the Sunland Tujunga Chamber of Commerce. We've tried walking around the corridor, and kind of the owner has done that. He's walked around and told the neighbors, hey, this is what we're filing the project, and this is what we want to do. And we've been able to get some support letters from the community, which is great. A lot of people want to see this place thrive and come in. And basically, we're here before you to answer questions, comments. And I just want to say that the place did open up. The current applicant, that's when exactly COVID hit, and COVID kind of stopped everything. But I personally have been working on this project for 2 years. The architect has been too. So the minute he realized that, because he thought if he gets his business license, that's all he needs. A lot of people don't know what a change of use triggers a specific plan. This is not for a person coming in, and not everybody knows the process. So we've been brought on board. We've been working with the city, but as you know, everything takes a long time. The architect who's going to go through the plans right now has been going back and forth with Plan Check. It took us a long time to secure the parking, to make sure it's within an appropriate distance. So all that has taken time, but the minute we filed the case, I reached out to Patty and I said, hey, we want to come and present. So here we are tonight. Thanks for accommodating us. I would like to, if you want to see the plans, we're happy to share it. Helbert, our architect, can go ahead and share the screen if it's okay with you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to see the plan.
Yeah, Helbert, do you want to share the screen and go over just the site plan and you muted, Helbert?
Oh, you hear me?
Kind of very light, and lots of feedback.
Hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I'm my voice is through the phone. So yeah, basically we have 6,000 square feet of print shop, which is converted to Jump Club, along with the 10007 Commerce Avenue unit, which is existing with the store being converted to cafe to support the Jump Club area. As Savannah mentioned, basically we are not touching the building footprint. All we are doing is just change of use, which mainly triggered the parking requirement, and that's what we've been trying to address for a long time, and we got to use the lodge site to support our parking. So we are using 18 stalls from the lodge area, along with our 5 parking spots on site to satisfy the parking requirement. We've gone through the fire department, fire and life safety. We have their approval, which is, I believe it's in on one of the sheets here. Yeah, here. So we got the fire department approval. We got the disability access approval. So yeah, pretty much building and safety has concluded their plan check and is ready for approval. It's just waiting for basically the planning process, which part of it is this meeting. So if there's any question, anything, please feel free.
Okay, any questions, comments from the committee?
Let's see here.
Patty, raise your hand. I think I hear. Patty, go ahead, and then
Okay,
Nina.
I'm here. Hi, Savannah. I know I didn't say your right name right. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I'm having trouble hearing you just because it's my own personal issue that I can't hear. My first question on the parking. I know you have behind that, where you have behind the building where the green fence is laid off. And I know you do valet parking. Is that the only, this is prior to you buying the Masonic temple or the Masonic Hall, okay? So now the city widened that alley so that there's parking on that alley. Are you using that as your parking also?
No, that is not being used as parking because that doesn't have the proper requirement as far as the backup, and that cannot be as a legal parking spot. That's why the only basically parkings that is approved by the city is the 3 compact parkings that you see here, and some bicycle parking, which is compensating for, like 4 of them is compensating for 1 car parking and 1 disabled parking. So these 5 plus whatever is on, like, I guess 18 from the Masonic Lodge, which is highlighted here.
Oh, okay. Forget the Masonic Hall. Prior to you purchasing that, which has been kind of current, the parking on Elmo, the city now has, before that was just a really bad alley. And the city, I'm assuming the city did that, put in, I don't know how many, 10 parking places on Elmo, correct? Do you follow me so far?
Are you referring to this 10-foot alley in the back?
Yeah, isn't that Elmo? Or no,
Let me share my screen, it might help.
yeah, it's not Elmo. I'm sorry, it's Hillhaven. Well, no, what is it? The alley
see my
behind your building. That's off of Tongue Canyon Boulevard.
It's
Okay.
an alley. It's just an alley.
Well, it was. I mean, I get you.
Right
So
here?
now the city has all these parking places there, right? Which I'm assuming is public parking.
I cannot comment on that because that's not illegal parking. The city didn't put those parkings. Those spots
Well, I
are
just want to
not
make sure
code compliant.
when you were having valet parking, you did not use those as part of your valet parking. You did it behind your green fence. I know, I'm sorry, I'm not making myself clear. Richard, is this your screen share?
Yes,
Owner can.
Yeah, what do you want me to
Okay,
look at?
so you can see these parking spaces here behind your building.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then behind your building, over there's a parking area behind this fence here, behind the roof, there's parking. And that is what you use as the valet parking?
Sorry?
Use as valet park. The thing is, okay, talking about those parking on the alley, those are
Yes.
not considered parking, like code compliant parking in city's eyes. So those do not exist. We cannot use those. They have
Okay,
to
well,
have a
okay, I just wanted to make sure that when I mean, I'm assuming if somebody comes to visit your place or anywhere, they're allowed to park along those new parking places, no charge, because that's part of the city, right? I'm just wanting to make sure I
But
clear
it
this.
would be on street, or that would be on street parking, and it wouldn't satisfy his off street parking requirements.
Okay, that's fine. That's understandable. I understand that. But I just want to confirm that when you charge for valet parking, those
Oh.
people are not parking in this on-street parking.
Yeah, they're not supposed to park on those parkings. But the parkings that are gonna be used by valet parking are those 18 stalls in the Masonic Lodge. Those are the parkings that will be utilized.
Okay.
Yeah, and
over
I know
there.
you bought the
And
Masonic Hall, but that's just been recently. So before that, I just wanted to make sure that when you had valet parking, that you were not parking them in the city off-street parking and charging and getting the money for it. I just want to confirm that.
By the way, those parking stalls that you see, even though they're not code compliant, that's part of a lot. That's not part of a street. So that's a private property.
Whose private property?
That's somebody's lot. That's a
Really?
piece of lot. If you go to Zimas, you will see that's part of somebody's lot. And actually, we were going to use that. I believe that even belonged to the same owner as the print shop. But yeah, I mean, but since it didn't give us the proper backup, we couldn't use that.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's not part of the alley. Yeah, if you look at close, yeah, you see there's a small
Yeah, sorry.
narrow strip. That's somebody's lot. That's a private property. So technically, the owner can park in that area, even though it's not a code compliant parking if needed, but we cannot use that on plans.
No, I understand you couldn't use it on plan. I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that you were not using it and charging people for valet parking there. I was just wanted that
Sure,
confirmed.
Sure.
Can I
yeah,
talk?
yeah.
Hi, my name is Hovik. So last name is Tadeusz. We're not charging after we open the place. We're not charging for the people for valet. All it's a complimentary.
Okay, it's just to help them
Yes,
find a place to park.
we're find a place and we're giving the good service. So my main thing with this town, I'm working like here like almost 10 years. I own the SFC gym. So I'm teaching the kids, adults, like healthy workout. So building fighters, bring up the flags and bring up the Silent Tahanga names. If you guys follow my SFC gym Instagram, everything is going Silent and Tahanga. So I love to give the service, and I'm one of the company in the town. I can tell I'm giving the service. I'm not selling anything, just service, teaching, and the reason we interested to open this place, a lot of parents that say, "Hey, Hobo, you good for the kids? Open the kids playground, like family gathering place." So that's how it started to build, and I love help the community. I'm helping the schools. Anybody know me, like they know, like I love to help and support anybody have a problem.
Patty, does that answer your question?
Okay, I just wanted to make everybody sure everybody understood that you were not using that, because a lot of people go, hey, they're using that. And thank you for clarifying that for us. I think the next thing I noticed that you have your sign covered up.
Is there an image I should go to, Patty?
I'm sorry, what?
A sign covered up? Is there an image I should go to, or?
Well, everybody should know the front of this building had the jump club up top. And tell the truth, I can't remember. See, there we go, that one there.
It's old.
I don't really remember what that sign said. It might have said the Record Ledger at one point, going back many, many years. 'Cause it seemed like it was that kind of a shape, but I noticed it's covered up. Last week I saw that it was covered up. Is there a reason?
Yeah, just we wanna when we get all the approval, we're trying to remodel and everything. So when you guys see the wall sign, the rain and the wind, it's taken out. So I try to keep like cover up. And when we get all the approvers, we hopefully one day my wish to open the door to we work like for community.
Okay. I know
I
that
have a
there's a couple.
question.
Nina, can I finish real fast?
Go, sure.
I know that's in the Foothill specific plan. It talks about mirrors not allowed. I don't know if that's true or not true. And then the signage, you know, the LA has this thing, excuse my voice, first of all. LA has a thing where signage or murals, it's a mural, and I don't know if they considered your drawing a mural or not. It has to be approved. So that's just something that you might want to look into. Okay. Okay, I'm done for now.
Oh, are you talking about this, Patty?
Yeah,
No, I don't know.
I mean, it's when it's a mural, it can't have anything to do with the business. My understanding, in this case, it has to do with the business. So I think it's not considered a mural, and it's okay. I just thought you might want to check that out. But I think these glass doors, it seems like I've seen something in the specific plan that mirrors are not permitted, you know, following that, whatever. So I'm just bringing that to your attention for now, okay? Thank you.
Savannah, unless you're responding to something, I want to go to Nina. I don't know if there's something you're go ahead.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay.
Nina, go ahead.
Yes, one of the things that that bothers me is that you're not supposed to be open yet, and yet every weekend there seems to be parties and banquets and everything going on. I live like within 2 or 3 blocks of the place, and a couple of other things. Your entrance is in the back only, and it doesn't look to me to be handicap accessible because of the location. Your front doors are closed, and according to this specific plan in target area 3, in order to be a vibrant community, the doors have to be open, and they're supposed to be 70% retail, where people can walk in and walk out. And from what I see and have seen since it has been open, that it's not open to the public. It is a private club. And that's what people call it, is a private club. So I don't see how personally that can help generate making Commerce a vibrant community. And I've lived here for 39 years. And that street really is not, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, the improvements have been vast. There are a lot of opened stores there. It's not going downhill, it's going uphill from the way that you explained it. That's not true. We worked very hard in the community to clean that street up that used to be home for the druggies and the homeless. But that has all changed now, and we're looking for a more vibrant in and out community. Like, that's a retail business. And I know that's a wonderful thing for helping the kids, but it's not helping the boulevard at all, Commercial Avenue, the Commerce Avenue area, because it's a closed door business. A few things here too. Your front door isn't accessible even to your patrons. Everybody has to go in the back. I don't understand that at all. In fact, that's not even encouraged as a safety feature. And that's another thing, is why would you get permits for fire and all of that yet when you haven't even gotten permits for your building or anything? As far as I'm concerned, you haven't applied for any permits to do anything. I do want the area to succeed because, like I said, I live in the area, and this is my community, and we've worked hard to improve it. Oh, and the Masonic Lodge, we were talking about having parking at the Masonic Lodge. That's been sold. So right now it hasn't, it's been sold and bought by someone else, but I see a for lease sign on it, but we don't know. The chances are it's probably going to be developed into multiple housing, and you will not have that for parking. So where are you going to have the parking? If you continue to have parties and banquets and things like that on the weekends, where are these people going to park? I haven't got a clue. So either it's going to be a recreation for children, or it's going to be a banquet hall, in my opinion.
Okay, Pat has your hand is raised again. I want to go to Savannah. Let's see, was there something you wanted to add because you're a member of the committee?
Can you hear me? Can you
Yes.
guys hear me? Okay. So I just wanted to comment on a few of the questions that Nina and Patty had. You're right, the doors are not open in the front, not yet. Once the permits go through, everything has to be from the front. Yes, there's backdoor access, but again, let's remember what happened in the last 3 years. Everything was private, small scale. The business was almost going to lose because it's very hard to maintain that big of a square footage but the private parties have held it. The private parties, people renting it for their family only, doing family stuff, most of it is what's kept the place living until now. We do want to open the doors to the front. It has a beautiful frontage. It should be used. You're absolutely right. The intent of us going through this is to legalize and make everything correct. The next thing is the owner didn't know about the Foothill specific plan. I've come in, I've looked at all the standards. I'm going through it line by line, but we filed a case a month ago. It still hasn't been assigned. A supervisor has it now, who's Dang. I'm waiting for it to go to a staff person, and that's when I will have my internal meetings to go through all the points of the specific plan. Believe me, everything is going to be compliant. If there's no glass allowed, no mirrors, no this, everything is going to be complied with. And the doors will be open to the front. As far as making it vibrant, once the doors are open to the front, it creates a visual, exciting pedestrian activity. It's not from the back. It doesn't have to be. We don't want it. We want to open it to the front. The other thing is you're saying the Masonic Lodge is being sold. The owner is in touch with the owner. We're going to sign an affidavit. So it's with a present person and everything has to be legal. So this is not just paperwork. It has to be confirmed. Building and safety is involved, and we will be actively using that. So if we don't get that parking, we can't pull our permit. So we're definitely, that's why it's taken us so long, because it was up for sale, then it went out. There's just been so much going on during COVID. It's been hard to get a hold of owners. Who's the owner? People are selling their places and moving out. So we want to stay in the community. We want to open the doors. We want to be involved. But a lot of the design comments that you're saying, I agree with you. That's exactly why the specific plan is filed. So I think those are the 2-3 comments I had.
I have one more question for you. I know that you had a lot of activities at night going into the wee hours of the morning. So if you're going to be dealing with children, will that still continue? Are you going to be renting it out to where you get alcohol licenses for an evening or what have you? Will that be involved?
We're not applying for an alcohol license. We don't have an alcohol license permitted filed.
But you can get one for a day and have it for an event. So that's why
what's the concern? The alcohol being served, everything has to be done via license. So we're not risking our permits being, nothing illegal will be done, if that's what you're asking. The concern is if there's a party, that's up to the owner. If there's a license, if somebody, I don't know, this is through ABC and this is but we don't have an alcohol license file.
Okay. Better yet,
intent is-
what would your operating hours be? What would the operating hours be?
So let's ask the applicant is here. We didn't, so the,
I don't,
Hovig, do you want to answer that? The
yes,
hours?
so yeah, the operation hours, so we opening like 10 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay.
and Saturdays, Sundays, so maybe we open a little bit earlier. But sometimes when the school days is sometimes this places it's opening like 3 p.m. But this place is not too big, like 40,000-50,000 square feet, like look like a sky zone. We trying to open like daily, when everybody have access to walking and jumping. So I totally, you say the truth. That's my wish. Oh, sometimes I'm going to Cindy, like Cindy know the lot of rules. I'm asking, can you tell me like what is the right way to do it? And then so my wish opened the front door. So and I help the community. And if you guys see the SFC gym area, when I using the front, I clean up like the street, the homeless. Always I'm taking videos. I have all videos when I nicely tag the homeless people, like cleaning the street. I hire the people. My gardener guy, he's coming every week cleaning the street.
Thank you. We do want it to business to succeed. We're not trying to put in stumbling blocks. We just want to make sure that it's a good fit.
Yes, that's my wish. Everybody knows I want to open that front door. That's my wish. So now I work very hard. Like I risk my house to build this business. Like I starting in the scratch. So I don't want to do anything illegally. If something I don't understand, so the Savannah helped me. The architect Hilbert is helped me. So this is it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, no more comments from Savannah or Patty?
Yeah, I just want to clarify something. For our people that don't know, this is, and confirm it for myself, this is not in an area where they're not next to a residential. If they were next to a residential, they would have a limit on what hours they can operate. So I'm assuming that there's really no limit on hours. So if you did have a private party, rented it out for a private party, you could go to 1 or 2 in the morning. Am I correct on that?
So the private parties is normally we doing like 3 hours or the 4 hour the maximum, but we gotta when we open the public, so we trying to cut the hours. We cut like 2 hours when everybody can be enjoy it. So if we do 6-hour party, we cannot do it. So we need to cut the parties 2 hours. So and then we can letting the people do jump like hourly.
Yeah. Well, I can see having private parties and actually, like Nina said, I think you could probably get a day permit for alcohol if it was needed. And once again, this is on I don't really know what the zone is, but it's basically a commercial. It's not next to any residentials where you'd have to be concerned about the noise after 10 o'clock at night. And so I think it's a good fit, other than the fact that you had been in business all these time without a permit.
Yeah,
That's a whole different matter, I get it.
and
It's next to
you know what?
manufacturing.
Yeah, and my wish when I open the door, I want everybody see it. When you guys have chance to just search top 10 trampoline park in LA, I'm coming #1. So and I'm trying my service, like people love the service. So all the teenagers is working. So the schools is calling us, like my Glendale location, and here like say, hey, you guys have a space like in teenager. So now my both places is working 41 kids, like teenager, and all like family kids. And I love help, like everyone. Most likely my gym, if I don't know, you guys heard like SFC gym in Sunland. Now we have one fighter, his name is Adrian. So he's going to, we contract for the we almost contracting the UFC. So he's fighting with Sunland Fight Club. So that's our community.
Cool. Any other comments, questions from the public or the committee? I don't see any hands raised, but I, for one, like that you said it seems like you're opening up for retail. I think I knew about the place beforehand, and people told me that you could rent it out, and that didn't seem to me very kind of connected with the rest of Commerce Avenue and helpful to the commercial scene there. But you're saying it's opening up for the general public to be able to walk in, and it's opening on commerce, and I think I'd support something like that.
I'll make a motion. This is Patty. I've moved that since it's not going to be a private club but open to the public, that we support the project.
A second. Is there any discussion?
Who seconded it?
Oh, sorry, this is Richard.
Okay, thank you.
Just maybe one last question. You said you're working out the parking with building and safety. That'll be some kind of covenant on the land, so even if the owner changes all that stuff, you'll still have access to those parking spots, right?
Yes, yes.
With that property, and you're not the owner of the property, sorry, some other person owns it.
So there is a different owner,
Okay.
and Hovo is renting it. He's leasing the space. And yes, so he is not the owner of the actual building.
It would be great for a bunch of the other property owners, if they have parking issues, to be able to go.
I'd like to know who the owners are.
Yeah, it's all in the application. It's actually he has an LLC, and I will tell you right now. So it is called DMKV LLC Valot Keshishian. He is the owner of the building. And Hovo is the applicant. Narina Gaprelian is his wife, and Hovo and his wife are running the place. They're leasing it. So it's all in the application, the grant deed, everything is submitted, whatever the requirement, everything we had to do, we've submitted. I'm just waiting for a staff person to be available to meet with us. Everything's backlogged. I mean, as you know, there's a shortage of staff. So I'm waiting for somebody to be assigned so we can, discuss additional details, whatever they need us to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And any other discussion?
No,
Betty? Was that a no?
no, no
Oh,
more. We're ready.
Okay. Can we take a vote? Cindy? Or did Cindy drop off? Cindy, I don't know if you're connected. Should I take the vote?
Oh, it looks like she's muted.
Yeah, she's muted.
Okay. If you want, I could try to start the vote, but I would start with Cindy, but I'll leave Cindy at the end. Betty,
Yes.
I'm gonna be a lot slower than Cindy, so I'm sorry. Nina,
Yes.
Bersh,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
Peter.
Yes.
Let me see. I did Nina. Who did I miss? Bersh. Oh no, I did.
Burton.
Oh, Vartan.
Forget me not. Yes.
I was looking for your name. Sorry. Yes. Myself. Can I vote? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you can vote.
Sorry. I've never taken this role. Cindy, I don't know if you're able to hear us.
we do have a quorum anyway. We 7-4, so
Okay, we're
regardless,
good.
I'm sure well, I don't know what Cindy, I don't want to speak for Cindy, but we have it. It passed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. It's a
Thank-
big support.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Okay,
Thank you
and
for
so
your
you
time.
Good
know,
luck.
we have to, a letter has to be written. So, and I actually, which has to be approved by the neighborhood council board, and if I correct, they are not meeting in December. And I might be wrong then, so it looks like we would not be able to get a letter written into the city until January, it looks like the soonest. But if there is a public hearing, we can always try to get that sooner, but I don't think you're going to have a public, as we all know. So anyway, just FYI, okay?
Okay, thank you, Patty. I'll be in touch if anything.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Can I say one more thing when everybody here? So always I want everybody knows I'm offering in my gym, like the kids, the parents who don't have a money or who can't afford it to pay the payments for workout. So always I'm offering like a free year membership, 1 year. If you guys want to support someone, please let me know. And also when the jump club is gonna be open, every year it's a 1 day we can open the public, so like we can do the free day for the community, helping for that kids come doing the parties, meet like characters or something. We can do like nice events every year's one time for the community. So
Perfect.
that's I lovely. I want to do that because I feel good when I'm doing something like that stuff. So just I want everybody know. So I'm open. You can call me anytime. So my phone is available 24-hour, and I scared 3 things. I'm scared 3 things: city, like city rules, and MRI machine, and and women's. So I pass one of them. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Hovig, I want to confirm when you talk about
Yeah.
your gym, that's the Fight Club?
Yes, the SFC
Okay.
gym. Yes.
Just
Let
wanted to
me
make sure.
know. Let me know anytime.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Say 2 or 3 of those are scary, so it's okay. All right. Next up, general public comment on non-agenda items. Or any comments from members of the public? I guess this is on anything that's not been agendized. Please just raise your hand or whatever. Seeing no hand raisings. Item number 6, discussion action update to land use committee members. Is there any updates? Ernst, I see a comment. Sorry. I see comments. Ernst, one went down. Ernst or Deborah, go ahead and unmute yourselves.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to comment that I'm just concerned with the lack of notification that we received for the McCray project for the October 16th meeting. Received the notification in the mail 3 hours before the meeting was supposed to occur. And that's simply not enough notification to have the community be able to attend. I could not attend, but it sounds like you had about 40 other people that could. Probably would have had twice that much if you had actually had proper notification. But want to just know that you do need to notify the community of the events more than hours ahead of time.
Which notification are you referring to? Was it a just
The meeting was happening in the for the last meeting. We received it on the day in the mail for the last land use meeting on October 16th. We received it in the mail the hours before the meeting was supposed to occur.
Okay, that'll be noted. I think was that a courtesy notice that we're sending? Okay. Yeah, we'll note that. I think we want to be more responsive. Thank you.
Me.
Nina, you raise your hand?
Yeah, I'm still working on Mission College, and I would really appreciate it if everyone would write to the LACCD and oppose the fact that they're screwing around with us. I don't know, they're gonna close it, but I don't know exactly when, but we need to let them know that it's not acceptable. Because we were supposed to have that college for Measure J, and they screwed around for 17 years before using the money, and there's no way they used it all up. They already opened up a satellite in Pacoima, which is only 5 miles from the Mission College there in Somar, and we're 17 miles away. So there's no equity here. So I just want everyone to be aware of what's going on. And if we want to save that college, everybody has to write, please.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, any other updates? I don't know if we want to just, that's the only remaining items are open planning
One more
applications.
thing.
Okay.
One more thing. Tomorrow morning, it's Coffee with a Cop at 9 o'clock at the Crow's Nest.
All right. Patty, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
This is going to be a public comment for anybody out there. There is a notice that the city sends out every other week saying what applications are been filed. If you would like that to get on that email list, please send me an email. My email's on the top, on the bottom, and I will send you the list. You can get on there and you know the list, or know who's going to be coming up and look for it, or you can pay attention to the STNC. We try to do our best. We're limited people, and we never really know when we're going to have something on a meeting. It is put on Facebook and Nextdoor. We don't have the manpower to actually mail things out like we did this time. So it's best if you pay attention to the city notices. They send out a thing, and you just look for anything under CD7 and the address, and you'll know what applications have been opened up. And then if they concern you, you can pay attention to that. You can look up everything on the ZEMAS and find all the information. We do the best we can as the land use committee, but we're limited in our time, and we could use more volunteers. Bottom line. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Okay, any open updates on open planning applications? I don't see any. And I think that's it. We just said our next meeting is going to be on the December 18th. And January 8th or 22nd, 2024 due to January holidays. I don't know what that means. But I guess we'll know that the next meeting is the 18th, and we might have the January meeting on the 8th or 22nd. On that, we adjourned. Thank you for joining the show.
Thank you for all your hard work. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Richard. You did great.
Yeah.
You're
Good
the
night.
best.
Good meeting.
Thank you. Good night.
Party
Thank
at
you.
Bartend's house.
Public information what's on this. Yeah,
No,
sorry, I
maybe
wasn't
not.
expecting to run that, but thank you all. So I'm gonna hit the leave button, but the meeting might not end because I'm not the. This is my first time. Sorry. Bye, everybody.
You did great. You did
You're
great.
good.